So I know what it's like to feel anxious. And I also know that if you don't actually do anything about it, you can end up getting sucked right into a negativity loop. Whether your anxiety is caused by physiological issues, like mine usually is, like from just an overload of adrenaline, which can be caused by eating too much sugar, having too much caffeine, that kind of thing, or just poor lifestyle choices, or sometimes just a hormonal imbalance when you just have just too much adrenaline rushing around your body. Often it's caused by thoughts. And what tends to happen is the more anxious we feel, the more we focus on the fact that we feel anxious. And then we have more anxious thoughts, which makes us feel even more anxious. And I get to the stage sometimes where I just feel like I don't want to be in my own skin, and then I don't want to talk to people, and I want to hide away, and I absolutely, it's just horrible. But I have found that if I actually try and do something about it instead of just sitting with it, it goes away very, very quickly. So I thought I'd just share a very simple little routine with you. And also, and that's what I was going to do. There, put that there. So yeah, you can do this sitting in a chair, or you can do it sitting cross-legged, whatever feels right for you. So wherever you're most comfortable. Just make sure that you're sitting up nice and tall so your spine is straight. Because what tends to happen when we become anxious, we're all in our head. We're just thinking about those thoughts that we're worrying about, or we're just thinking about the fact that we're anxious. And the more that we think about the fact that we're anxious, the more anxious we feel. And then we stop breathing properly. And when we breathe in our chest, we stimulate the nerves of the sympathetic nervous system, which can put us into a stress response. Whereas when we breathe down into our belly, right into the base of our lungs, we stimulate the parasympathetic nervous system, which helps to calm us down. And the other thing is, oxygen is our body's fuel. And when we don't breathe properly, because we're breathing shallowly, we get less oxygen. And that can also put us into a stress response. So that can make us feel even more anxious. So by sitting up nice and tall, you're encouraging deeper breathing. When we kind of slouch, our lungs literally can't expand as much as we'd like them to. So just take a moment, whether you're sitting on a chair or sitting cross-legged, just take a moment to really check into your body. Imagine like one of those scanners that's scanning throughout your whole body. And say we tend to, when we're anxious, tend to just kind of be in our head all the time. And just notice how you feel. And you might think, well, that's ridiculous, I feel anxious. But what I mean is, how does that feel in your body to feel anxious? What does it mean to feel anxious? And say to yourself, a part of me feels anxious. I always say this to clients. Instead of saying, I am anxious, try saying, a part of me is anxious. Because it's not you, it's just a temporary thing. And when you say, a part of me feels anxious, your awareness might get drawn to a certain part of your body. You might notice it in your chest or in your belly or anywhere. So just try saying, a part of me feels anxious. Because when you say I am, what you're really saying is I want. And if you don't want to feel anxious, don't say I am. Just say, a part of me is feeling anxious. And just notice how your body feels right now. And so you can also compare how you feel at the end. Remember, it's not about judgment. It's not about making yourself wrong. So don't feel guilty. Don't feel angry at yourself for feeling anxious. We all feel a bit anxious sometimes, but we can get stuck in a cycle where it becomes a habit to feel anxious, to be anxious. And just sitting up nice and tall, opening your eyes. Now just place one hand over your heart and one hand on your lower belly. What this also does is it anchors us into our energetic body. So instead of being in our head and just focus on how we're feeling, it anchors us into our body. And also connects the chakras and the central nervous system, which run along the length of the spine. And touch as well is so calming, which is why we naturally touch someone when we're trying to comfort them. And it can be just as calming when we touch ourselves. But the other reason I want you to hold your hands here is as you breathe in, I want you to try and breathe into your belly. Now when you breathe into the belly as opposed to the chest, as they reactivate the parasympathetic nervous system, which works to calm us down. And also deeper breathing, more oxygen, and our brain can work more efficiently. Because when you're starved of oxygen, you're not thinking clearly. So as you breathe in, I want you to try and breathe into your hand, your lower hand first. So breathe into your belly. You might feel it expand a little bit, it might be a lot. And keep breathing in, feel your rib cage expand. And keep breathing in, feel your chest rise. And then just pause at the top of the inhale, just for a couple of seconds. And as you breathe out chest, feel your chest relax. Keep breathing out, feel your rib cage start to contract. And keep breathing out until you feel your tummy muscles start to tighten. And again, just pause at the end of the exhale, just a couple of seconds or a little bit longer if you can, before you take the next breath in. Remember, our body is full of oxygen. We're not going to run out of oxygen by holding the breath. So breathing in belly, ribs, chest, and just pause, just observe the body, observe the sense of expansion in the body. As you breathe out chest, ribs, and belly. Again, keep breathing out till you feel your tummy muscles tighten. So what we're also doing is not only are we filling the lungs completely, we're emptying them completely as well. When we don't use our full lung capacity, we get kind of like deposits, gunk, at the bottom of our lungs. We want to clean them out so that when we take the breath in, we can fill our lungs with fresh, clean oxygen. Remember, oxygen is energy. So just taking a few deep breaths like that will help ease your anxiety just alone without even doing anything else, because you're taking your mind off your thoughts. You're thinking belly, ribs, chest, exhaling chest, ribs, belly. And you can say that to yourself as you're doing it. So as if you're observing yourself breathing. And that stops your mind going around those 101 things and you're getting overwhelmed. Because what tends to happen when we're worrying about something, we're actually visualizing it, whether we realize it or not. And we usually worry because we're expecting the worst to happen, right? And so because you're visualizing the worst case scenario, your body is reacting as if that worst case scenario is actually happening. So when you're focusing on the breath and you're just literally thinking to yourself, belly, ribs, chest, you're focusing your mind where you want it to go rather than here, there, I can't cope. So those few deep breaths, filling your body with oxygen, with energy, will naturally start to bring you down. And you can do this little exercise for as long as you like. Even just a couple of breaths in the middle of the day can help calm you down, or you can spend up to 5-10 minutes, and that will naturally bring you into a state of active relaxation. Another little exercise that can anchor you in your body and bring you back to your energetic body instead of being all scattered is something called Mula Bandha. And Mula Bandha, all you do is you imagine you're mid-wee and you just pull in your pelvic floor muscles, draw in your belly button, and imagine squeezing in and up. And you're squeezing the cerebral spinal fluid up to the top of your head. So you're activating your energy centers, and it helps to ground you. So instead of being all scattered and anxious and blah blah all out there, it grounds you in your body. So as you breathe in, pull up your pelvic floor muscles, pull in your tummy muscles, and just imagine squeezing up. Imagine you've got an elevator shaft along the length of your spine, and you're squeezing energy right up to the crown of your head. And as you breathe out, gently release that. So as you breathe in, pull up your pelvic floor muscles, squeeze your tummy muscles, visualize energy flowing up your spine to the crown of your head. So you can do it with your eyes closed if you wish. And as you breathe out, gently release. So this activates our energetic body and reminds us that we're an energetic being. Again, you can do that. That's something you can do when you're sat in the car or wherever you are when you start to feel anxious when you're out and about. Try it. And as you're doing that, try and imagine also squeezing the muscles around your heart center as if you're about to push something heavy. So just imagine you're about to push something heavy, gently squeeze the muscles around your heart, which activates our heart chakra, Anahata chakra. So you're pulling up your pelvic floor muscles, pulling in your tummy muscles, tensing your pectorals as if you're about to push something. Again, that anchors you into your body and brings you back to your energetic body instead of your scattered self. Again, you can do that wherever you are. You can do that for a couple of seconds, couple of minutes, whatever's good for you. Then if you're sitting on a chair, just shuffle forward a little bit. Inhale, open the arms out, open your heart. As you breathe out, imagine giving yourself a hug and just round over slightly. Inhale, open the arms, open your heart, big breath in, and exhale. See if you can switch the arms as you hug. So what we're doing here is we're stretching the upper body, opening the heart center, and we're also connecting the right and left sides of the body. By crossing your arms, you're connecting your energy, because our energy flows. We've got one side, we've got the other. We want them to cross over, otherwise we're just not connected, we're not grounded. So inhale, open your heart, big breath in. Exhale, give yourself a hug, round over, drop your chin to your chest. Inhale, open. And exhale. It's also a great stretch for your spine. Just a couple more. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. And breathe out. Then come back up. Another great little exercise when you're stressed or anxious is to twist. We literally twist the crap out of our body. So if you're sitting on a chair, just bring your knees together. If you're cross-legged, just stay where you are. Just inhale, stretch the arms up as if you're lengthening the spine. As you breathe out, take the hand to one knee. And imagine turning through your ribs, your chest, your shoulders. And it's like wringing out the crap, wringing out a dishcloth. Also brings fresh supply of blood to your spine. Inhale, stretch up without tensing your shoulders. Exhale, twist the other way. So just check you're not tensing that shoulder. And just feel that rotation through your spine. Inhale, stretch through your fingertips. And exhale, twist. Also great for the internal organs. You're giving your inner organs a massage. Because sometimes when we're anxious, we can get digestive disorders. This also stimulates our lower chakras, which tend to get tight, tend to get blocked when we're feeling anxious. Twist the other way. You might find you can go a little bit further each time. It's not a competition to see how far you go. It's not important. You might hear a couple of clicks and cracks in your spine as it releases tension in your spine. Because when we get anxious, we tend to get all tight and tense, don't we? Stretch up and just shake your arms out. Shake them out. Really shake them out as vigorously as you can. Like you're shaking off negative energy. You're shaking off your anxiety, getting rid of it. This also kind of jiggles our cells around a little bit, wakes up our cells. I always imagine the body like a snow globe. When you shake the snow globe, it's like it's snowing. So we want to shake up our cells. We want to change our emotional state. We need to change our energy. It's as simple as that. Another very simple breathing exercise. Bring your left hand, bring your thumb and index finger together. So that's this mudra of kind of wisdom, of calm, of receptivity as well. So your hand is palms upwards. You're very welcome, my lovely. With your right hand, fold your peace fingers in and just block your right nostril. You're going to breathe in and out through your left nostril. Now the left nostril activates the right hemisphere of the brain and vice versa. But breathing through our left nostril is very calming. When we want more energy, we breathe through the right side. So going back to your belly breathing. So breathing in belly, ribs, chest. Again, try and pause at the top of the inhale. And exhale, chest, ribs, belly. And again, keep breathing out till you feel your tummy muscles tighten. Just pause at least for a couple of seconds at the end. Now one side of your nose might feel like it's stuffed with cotton wool, and that will change every 90 minutes. And if you are feeling anxious, it might be your left nostril that feels like it's stuffed with cotton wool. So breathing as deeply as you can, and see if you can extend the pause each time, maybe stopping for 5-6 seconds. And again on the exhale, pausing on the exhale for as long as you can. And what that does, that puts us into a positive stress response so that we're better able to deal with stress and anxiety. So breathing as deeply as you can. Get that your tummy expands so we're stimulating the nerves in the base of our lungs. Again, hold the breath and just count in your head, maybe count to 5 if you can. And breathing all the way out. Again, keep breathing out till you feel your tummy muscles tighten. Again, try and hold for a count of 5 on the exhale. Again, this is an exercise that you can do for 5-10 minutes. If you're at work or somewhere, you can just nip into the toilet or just go out of the way or just do it in front of everyone. I don't care, I do. And it will bring you to a state of balance. Just notice how each time you may be able to breathe a little bit deeper, and each time try and hold for a second longer. So maybe you can count to 5, maybe this time count to 6. Again, as you exhale fully and completely, keep exhaling till you feel your tummy muscles tighten, and again try and hold it for a count of 5 or 6, and just observe that stillness, that moment of rest, when your heart's getting a rest, your lungs are getting a rest, before you take the next breath in. And after a few breaths, you'll notice that your rib cage seems to expand even more. You seem to be able to fill your lungs even more because you're relaxing the muscles around your ribs. Maybe we've got muscles on our rib cage as well, and they get tight. When we're anxious and tight and tense, everything tightens up. Visualize your lungs like 2 balloons and think of all that oxygen, that energy in your body as you hold the breath. And it gets easier and easier to hold the breath. You can hold it for a little bit longer each time without that panic. And if you do start to feel a bit panicky, just remind yourself your body is full of oxygen. Your cells are full of oxygen. The room is full of oxygen. You're not going to run out of breath. And just observe those thoughts. Without making yourself wrong, without getting angry with yourself, just observe those kind of, oh, I need to breathe. Just think, yeah, I'm just going a second longer, What it also does is it takes your mind over whatever it was you're anxious about. And when you've done, release your hands, take a nice deep breath in. Go back to those energy locks. Pull up your pelvic floor muscles, pull in your tummy muscles. Imagine contracting your pectoral muscles as if you're about to press something heavy. So you're squeezing your lower chakras, you're squeezing your heart chakra. Hold that breath in. And just meditate on the stillness. Notice that there's no rush, and notice how you're grounded in your body, not in your anxious thoughts. And then when you need to, let it go. Again, notice any changes, any sensations within. I'm just going to finish with a very easy, very simple tapping EFT, emotional freedom technique. This is a very generalized one, but what it does, it taps on points of the body that link to meridians in the body. So to be healthy, our energy needs to be flowing well. And what tends to happen is energy rushes through certain areas, it doesn't go to other areas, so we become unbalanced and unwell. So when we focus on the side of the hand, so if you're about to give someone a karate chop, that point, that little indentation at the crown of your head, then we come to the inside of your eye, so just on the bridge of your nose with your eyebrow, then the outside of the eye, not on the bony bit, the softer bit. Under the eye, again not on the bone, slightly underneath, under the nose, on the chin, and then we'll just do one on the chest. And we speak as we do that. And so it's a very generalized routine just to bring you to a state of balance. So you're starting off at the karate point, and what are you going to say? You're going to say out loud, even though I feel anxious, I deeply and completely accept, love and accept myself. Even though I feel anxious, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Even though I feel anxious, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. And you may feel resistance at saying I love and accept myself. Okay, observe that resistance and keep going. Then going to the crown of your head, go find there's like a little dip along the center line. And just tap on there. And again, repeat, even though I feel anxious, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. So what this is doing is not making you wrong for feeling a certain way, because we often get angry at ourselves or feel guilty. Then come to the corner of the eye, so where the eyebrow, between the bridge of the nose and the eyebrow. You don't have to worry too much about getting it right or wrong, because you're not sticking pins in. And just say again, even though I feel anxious, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Again, side of the eye, not on the bony bit. Even though I feel anxious, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. And below the eye, again, not on the bony bit, you'll find a bit that feels slightly like a bruise. Even though I feel anxious, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Underneath the nose, even though I feel anxious, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. And on the chin, so the bit between your lip and your chin, even though I feel anxious, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. And just on like the chest, the heart center, the thymus, the Tarzan bit, even though I feel anxious, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. And you can do that a couple of times. And just repeat a simple, I feel anxious. I feel anxious. I feel anxious. I feel anxious. Under the eye, I feel anxious. Under the nose, I feel anxious. Under the mouth, I feel anxious. Heart center, I feel anxious. And this round, I love and accept myself. Crown of the head, I love and accept myself. Corner of the eye, I love and accept myself. Side of the eye, I love and accept myself. Underneath the eye, I love and accept myself. Under the nose, I love and accept myself. Chin, I love and accept myself. Heart center, I love and accept myself. And that just starts to bring you back into a state of balance. In a normal kind of one-to-one session, we'd go through a lot more, but it starts to bring you back to a state of balance. Another very simple trick when you're feeling anxious is simply to focus your feet on the ground. And imagine roots extending down through your feet, grounding you down into Mother Earth. So this has been a very kind of brief taster session of some of the things that you can do. I kind of use movement as medicine. And if anyone is interested in learning a bit more about what I do or about joining our group, I did put the link down below in the comments. But if you'd like to know more about one-to-ones or my online classes, then just holler at me, because I absolutely love helping people heal through movement, using movement as medicine. So enjoy the rest of your day, beautiful souls. And thank you so much for joining me.